is my room for a couple of nights in La Paz. Not bad. I think it was about 70 bucks a night, and has everything I need. Outlets, nice desk to work on, comfortable bed, air conditioner. Everything looks good. Yeah, so I'm gonna go out right now and try out the pool. So let's check out this pool. Oh, well, it's not quite what it was like in the photographs, but that's par for the course here in Mexico. Sometimes things don't always look the way they're advertised. Anyways, I'm gonna have a quick swim, get this travel dirt off of me, and see if I can get some food. So I'll see you in a bit. Welcome to La Paz. And here's my popsicle. It's a pistachio popsicle I got here at an ice cream shop which makes amazing popsicles, and I'm just about to enjoy it. We're right on the Malecon. This is the epicenter of La Paz, and as you can see, it's a beautiful day. Gorgeous. And there's a lighthouse. In the distance you can probably see that pearl. And beautiful sun. The beach. And gorgeous. Simply gorgeous. And very, very different from Cabo San Lucas, which is not like this. If this was Cabo St. Lucas, I'd have like 10 guys hustling me right now, and that's not the case. So La Paz is much more chill, much more relaxed. Still have the beach. There's a bit of a marina you can see over there in the distance, but it's not like Cabo St. Lucas, which is a really intense marina. And yeah. Anyways, here's the famous pearl of La Paz. Look at that pearl, gorgeous. So I'm gonna crack this thing open, and I'm gonna look for a bite to eat somewhere. But in the meantime, I'm gonna enjoy this popsicle here in the sun. So I'm here at this little spot. I think it's called Romeo Dolce. Dolce Romeo. And this is the place. And it's actually a cute little place, and they make great little sandwiches. And I got a little mango smoothie here. Very nice little sandwich. I'm going to enjoy right now, and do a little bit of research on how to get to Loreto, whether I'm going to rent a car or take a bus. Still trying to figure it out. So that's what it is. So I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Enjoy this sandwich after a long day. Hello there. So I just had my dinner. I have some dessert here for later. I couldn't help it. And look at that amazing sunset. Just have a look at this amazing sunset in front of me. This is La Paz. This is the little marina. And what an amazing sunset it is. I'm going to take a walk along the Malecon, eventually get back to my hotel room and do some work. So enjoy this, and catch up with you in a bit.
Y mejorar y crecer. Pero
Good morning again. Third day in La Paz, and I'm just walking for a breakfast place. Today's not as sunny as it was yesterday, but nevertheless, it's still a really great day. I did my whale shark tour yesterday. I'll talk a little bit about that, and hopefully I'll gonna do some drone videos today. I haven't pulled out my drone in a few days, and I just want to make sure I get some nice videos of La Paz. Tomorrow I'm going to be getting a car and heading north to Loreto. So as you can see back there, the National Guard is out in force. I actually don't feel intimidated by them. I actually feel that they're protecting tourists. So in this case, it's almost as if they're on some other assignment, who knows what, guarding something. But some people feel frightened when they see military machine guns. But in Mexico, actually makes me feel safe because a lot of Mexico is run by cartels and gangsters, and so therefore having the military presence discourages those gangsters from basically going nuts. There's already been a few shootings in Cancun and Playa del Carmen and Puerto Morenos, Tulum. There was a couple of tourists killed in a nightclub. So you know, having a police presence actually is probably a good thing. So this is sort of the central part of La Paz, the historical center. You can see the church there, and a little bit of the center space here, and I'm just gonna walk down this street here and hopefully find a little spot I found yesterday. And ooh, there's some electrolytes. It's not a bad thing to buy every now and then, is some of the electrolyte juices here to keep you hydrated. I'll probably get some on my way back. I usually get the 1 liter size. It's better price, better value. And I usually prefer the coconut version. So I'm looking for this spot. I'm not sure where it is because I keep changing. Just look here on Google. Center myself out. There it is. Let's go. So I'm gonna go here. Oh, it's on that side. Okay. So I'll go down this street and then turn right to get there. Yeah, I have been enjoying my my time in La Paz. It has, like I said before, it has this perfect balance of not being too big, not being too small, lots of great restaurants, lots of great hotels, the waterfront. You have activities such as whale sharks, going out to the islands, etc. And you don't have the hustlers. You don't have the people constantly coming up to you trying to sell you stuff. So, and the weather, obviously, you know, it's beautiful. The whole thing's really nice. Yeah, so that's my take on La Paz. I'll be going to Loreto tomorrow, and I'll be able to do a video on that and compare. But so far, La Paz is probably my top spot. So let's see about getting some food. So I just had some breakfast here at the place behind me here, La Metia, and it was okay. Basically had, you know, their version of avocado toast, 2 fried eggs on toast with some avocado smeared on it. Still prefer the other place, the Dolce Romeo. Probably gonna head there later for a coffee. Just gonna take it easy today here in La Paz. Sort of enjoy the place before I leave tomorrow. I'm not gonna do any tours because it's a Thanksgiving holiday in the US, and there's a lot of people here on vacation, and the tours seem to be extremely popular and busy. Yesterday's whale shark tour wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, seeing the whale sharks was amazing, no doubt. But I was told that first it would be a 3-hour tour, that they would pick me up at 10:30. So, you know, I planned that. The tour itself was 1,500 pesos, which is about $80 US. So it's not cheap, but hey, it is what it is. If you want to see whale sharks, that's the deal. But 10:30 comes around, I get a phone call saying, oh, they're going to be an hour late. They just called. So that was disappointing because I was all ready, I prepared. I'm already in my bathing suit, rash guard, have everything packed, and now I gotta wait. So, okay, wait for an hour, catch up on some videos, and a little bit of work, and 11:30 comes around, I get the phone call, go, there's someone in the lobby to pick me up, take me to take me on a little shuttle to the pier, and meet the other people who are on the tour. And nice. Again, some people from the US coming down for Thanksgiving. Get to the pier, and then we get some more information about the tour. We're told that we either have to wear a life jacket in the water, or we got to rent a wetsuit for 150 pesos. But we can't just go in our bathing suits. Well, I don't know. You can't really see much if you're in a life jacket. It's not very convenient. You can't dive, you know, you're floating on top. Even though the whale sharks aren't too deep, that really wasn't an option for me. So I decided on the wetsuit. Next we get ushered to our boat, and we meet the rest of the people who are coming on the tour. And there was actually quite a few. I mean, the boat was packed. If I had to, there's 3 groups of 5, so it was about 15 altogether in the boat, just for the tour, not including the captain and the guide and the aide, and I think her boyfriend was there as well. So the boat was pretty packed. So they tell us as we go out on the boat that we have to wait, that we have to take our turn. That apparently there's 25 boats ahead of us to see the whale sharks, and that we have to wait our turn, and so that they're going to take us to this island, this beach where we can sit and wait our turn before we now go to the area where the whale sharks are, to see them. So one person asked, well, how long do we have to wait? They told us that we might have to wait 2 to 3 hours. At which point I'm like, what? I was told the whole tour was supposed to be 3 hours, and now I'm hearing that I have to wait 3 hours on a beach to see the whale sharks. That was pretty disappointing. Which means you got to think about food, water, and what you're going to do for 3 hours. They did bring some refreshments and some sandwiches, but yeah, I mean, waiting for 3 hours was not fun. And after the 3 hours, we got on the boat, and then we went to the area where the whale sharks are located, and they divided us up into groups of 5. There was 4 groups, and each group would take a turn. So once there was a sighting, the first group would jump in. They would get, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes maybe, tops, to see the whale sharks, film them. Almost everybody had a GoPro or something. And they would come out of the water, then the next group would jump in, and so forth. And then we would, because the whale sharks are moving around, then we would have to find another whale shark or a couple of whale sharks to do the same thing. And altogether, I think it was 3 or 4 times we went in. Each group went in 3 or 4 times. I'm trying to remember. And yeah, it was great. I mean, seeing the whale sharks was amazing. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be because, number one, the light wasn't great. By the time we got to the whale sharks, the light was like kind of in sunset mode, so it wasn't going directly down into the water. So the water was a bit dark, so it was hard to see the sharks. And you would have to be lucky enough that the whale sharks weren't swimming too fast. When the whale sharks are feeding, and they're like vertically feeding, so they're kind of up and down, and they're just sitting there kind of inhaling their food, it's much easier to see them and to film them. But if they're swimming around, you got to chase them. And if there's 2 or 3 of them, you got to be careful that they're not bumping into you, or you're not bumping into them. So yeah, so but it was overall a good experience. The 3-hour wait was just unacceptable. They didn't warn us or tell us. They knew. I'm pretty sure they knew, but they knew, but they didn't tell us. I guess if we knew beforehand, maybe we'd change our minds and we wouldn't go. So I mean, that's how it works here. They don't tell you anything negative for fear that you might not go. And if you're getting 1,500 pesos a person, plus the wetsuit, and you got 15 people there, you do the math, and it's a very lucrative business model. If you only got to pay the guide, the captain, the helper, and I don't know who else, then it's a pretty good racket. But I wish that they would be more honest and a little bit more organized. It's not the cost of the tour that throws me off. I mean, it's the fact that they tell you one thing and you get another thing. It's the fact that they say it's a 3-hour tour and it ends up being a 6-hour tour. Things like that. You kind of come to accept things like this in Mexico, because mostly in Mexico that's how it works. If somebody says they're going to be there at 3 o'clock, that doesn't really mean anything. Probably means they'll be at 3:30. It's very hard to depend on times and what you're going to get out of a deal. Even renting a car could be like that. I mean, they say one price, but then you negotiate another price, and you ask for this car, but then you get another car. I mean, it's just, I just wish there would be just a little bit more honest and organized, and it would really reduce the amount of frustration on my part, and I guess travelers in general. And it would be, just a much better experience. you know, if someone told me that, oh yeah, the whale shark tour, this is how it works, you get assigned a boat, and there's a lottery system about when you leave. Not all the boats leave at the same time. You might have to wait 2 or 3 hours for your turn to go to the area. They'll provide you food and beverages, but you might have to wait on a beach for 2 or 3 hours, and you'll probably be coming back at sunset. Okay, good. I know what to expect. I'll plan accordingly. But when somebody says, oh no, it's a great tour, it's only 3 hours, they pick you up at 11, you'll be back, you know, early afternoon. Well, that's not how it is. I don't know why they say that, but that's not how it is. So that's my little pet peeve about the whale shark tour. There's another tour here that's very popular. It's called the Ilha Espírito Santo tour, where you it's a full day tour where you go out on a boat for a whole day. They go to an island and they feed you, and you get to snorkel with sea lions and other fish and so forth. It sounds exciting. I was going to consider doing that again, but not today. Probably on my way back from Loreto and up north and come back to La Paz, I'll probably do that tour, which is after the holidays, and brings me to another tip, and that is if you can, it's not always possible, but if you can, avoid the holidays coming down to Mexico if you're doing the tours or booking hotels, because that's when everything gets really expensive. You're not going to find a car to rent. Your hotel's going to be expensive. Your tour is going to be fully booked, or if it isn't fully booked, you're going to have to, you know, wait the 3 or 4 hours like I had to wait. So it just becomes, it just becomes like just more frustrating. So if you could avoid those busy times, that would be good. Okay, saying that, I'm gonna have to now find a bank. I need an ATM machine and get out a little bit more cash, so that when I go north of here, I won't have to depend on finding a bank in some of these smaller towns. So that's my next step. So I'm just walking around the old town of La Paz, looking in shops. I just got myself a juice, carrot juice of some kind. They call it the Vampiro at the Mercado, and I think it was like 25 pesos. It's really cheap. If you want to get things cheap, go to the Mercado. Mercado is the place. And I just wanted to use this opportunity to talk about the COVID situation here in Mexico. For those of you thinking of coming to Mexico and want to know what the COVID situation is, this is what it is. So they never had any restrictions coming into Mexico. That is, you never had to have a PCR test, you never had to have a vaccine, nothing. Come into Mexico, no problem. You get a 6-month visa, no problem. Excuse me. Now, in Mexico itself, restrictions are barely existing. Most places require you to wear a mask. But yeah, mostly it's kind of cool. I think I might get one of those buckles once this place opens. It's like an interesting little shop. I like this country and western theme going on here. Oh, look at that bust. Very nice. If you're into the cowboy look, this is the place. So most places want you to wear a mask when you go inside, but they're not very strict about it. 99, not 99, maybe 90% of the places, they don't care. If you walk around with your mask below your nose, they don't care. Yeah, it's not a big deal. So most offer hand sanitizer when you walk in, but if you refuse, they don't care. Some will do a temperature check. It's not very common. It does happen, but it's not a big deal. Again, they kind of point it at your wrist, at your hand. They're very nonchalant. A lot of places don't even do that. A lot of places there is no temperature check, or there's a kind of automatic one standing by the door that if you want, you can check your temperature, but it seems like nobody cares. And yeah, although a lot of the Mexicans themselves do wear masks, and I was a little surprised at how many of them not only wore masks, but also use that hand sanitizer all the time. Like all the time. It's almost like holy water to them. And I can't stand using this stuff because it dries out my skin. Like already my skin is getting, I don't know if you could see that on my fingers. My skin's getting dry and the skin's peeling off, and I think that's from the hand sanitizer. So I don't use it. I don't like using it. I'd rather just wash my hands. And that's what I tell them now. So when I go in a place and they offer me the hand sanitizer, I point to the bathroom and tell them I'm going to wash my hands instead. We're too lax that the tourists wouldn't come here because they would see it as unsafe, so they were pretending to be more strict. But when you pushed it, they didn't really care. That's the thing I like about Mexico. It's got that kind of attitude. So as you can see, I'm back on the Malecon, and as you can see, it's kind of cloudy today. The sun is not really hot, and it's not very bright. It's kind of overcast, which is, yeah, it's okay. I'm glad I didn't do that island tour. It would be kind of chilly on the boat right now. And glad I did the whale shark tour yesterday. I wouldn't be sitting on a beach in this kind of weather for 3 hours. Yeah, so getting back to this COVID situation, Mexico is actually really good. So if you're coming to Mexico and you don't want to be in a constant state of fear or paranoia, or you want to be more relaxed, they're pretty cool about it. Again, no PCR tests, no vaccines, nothing. Now, when you leave Mexico, depending where you're going, you might need a PCR test or vaccine, passport or something. But yeah. And PCR tests are pretty cheap here. It's another good thing about this place. is that if you have to go somewhere where you require a PCR test, you can get them pretty cheap, and they're everywhere. Unlike New York City or other big cities where they're really expensive. It's a racket. I really don't like it. I don't think that PCR test does anything except make money for those companies selling it, and it gives the government another excuse to keep you in chains. So I'm not in favor of it. It's not to say that the virus doesn't exist. It does exist, but it's not as dangerous as everyone makes it out to be. And let's face it, it's almost 2 years now, and if you haven't got it under control, it's not going to get under control. And you shouldn't be taking away people's liberties and rights and making them mandating all these things. It's just ridiculous. I hope people wake up and start fighting back. When you start seeing what's going on in places like Australia, it's like, oh my God, no, forget it. Like, really? Is this really 2021? I mean, Australia's become basically an open-air prison. So let's forget about that. Anyways, enough talk. Heading back into the more modern part of La Paz. I did go to the bank and take out some cash, and I'm gonna see if I can get a croissant and another coffee, and maybe do a little work on my computer, a little bit of planning before going to the next activity. Not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to look around. I already went to the museum here, and it was pretty cool. If you're into museums, it's not very big, but it gives you a little bit of a history of La Paz. It's actually the place that got me curious about the cave paintings, the rock paintings, which is sort of like the I think it's one of the highlights of this state. Besides the aquatic life, the ocean life, going to see the whale sharks and so forth, and scuba diving and snorkeling, I mean, that's all really great, but the rock paintings are amazing. They're ancient, they're like pre-Christian, and no one really knows who made them or how they got there, because they're huge. And you know, you would think you'd have to construct a scaffold to make those rock paintings, or they must have been made by giants, because you just don't know how they were made. But they're hard to get to. They're in the rocks, and they're inland. There's no real roads. You have to walk there. And some of the really nice ones, I think they're in the area called San Francisco, the Serra or something. I mean, it's like you got to take a mule. You got to mule it. It's going to take you 2 or 3 days. You know, and it's a trek. So it's not like going to a Mayan temple where you hop in a tour bus, you spend a few hours at the temple, take some nice pictures. This is, you know, it's much more complicated and involved. You have to really want to do it. And it's not in the southern part of La Paz. It's in the northern part of La Paz, where it's more isolated, harder to get to. It takes you at least 5 or 6 hours to get to some of these towns. And then from the town, you're going to have to organize a tour that might take 2 or 3 days. Through the hills or mountains. They're not really mountains, they're more like rocky hills, to get there, to witness them, and then come back. So yeah, it's not for the casual traveler. It's for the kind of traveler that really, that is what they want to do. But I'm very curious. I would love to see them. and I'm gonna do some research and find out if I can do it. Not sure if I could. Not sure if I want to go through that grueling trek or not, but you know, I could always save it for another time. I do plan on coming back to this place. It's really nice. So I don't think it'll be the last time I come to La Paz, or this area of Mexico. Now that I know that there are direct flights here, it's even better. I don't have to go to Cancun. I like Cancun, it's okay, it's not a big deal, you know, playa, you know, it's like, but it's a party place, you know, it's like people go there to party and wow. Yeah, there's a beach, but there's beaches everywhere in Mexico. Yes, it's the Caribbean, it's beautiful blue. And some of the beaches here are pretty good too, so, and I don't know, I don't really like what's going on with that coast as far as like the development, the tourism, and you know, what's going on with the cartels, the shootings, the violence. It's just overdone, you know. And it's not as bad as Cabo San Lucas, which is like, you know, it's like a Animal House party town, but it's still like, you know, it's expensive and yeah, it's overdone. It's not real Mexico anymore. It's not really worth going back to. Let's put it that way. Except for the Mayan temples. If I was ever to go back into the Yucatan, I would probably go to Campeche or Merida or Valladolid, one of those three towns, which they're not tourist towns, and I would rent a car and I would, you know, do the Mayan temple thing, and that's it. But I've seen most of them. There's only a couple. There's only about 3 or 4 major temples I haven't seen there, and I'm sure I will get back to them at some point. And that's how I would do it. Again, I would fly into Merida or Campeche. I don't even know if Valladolid has an airport. If it does, it's probably no direct flights. So, and then rent a car. Basically all you need is, for me, all I need is 4 or 5 days to cover the whole temples that I would need to see, and that's it. If I want beach, and I want water and aquatic and snorkeling and scuba, I'd probably come out here. Baja California Sur. It's a much more relaxed place, and I like the climate, I like the dryness, and the aquatic, the aquatic life is, you can't beat it. It's just incredible. And as far as La Paz goes, yeah, there's no hustlers. It's a very laid back place with lots to do, lots of restaurants, and yeah, good place. So now I'm going to get my croissant and coffee. That is my next step. I just wanted to get this shot. This is the famous landmark here at La Paz. Is the Pearl Shell. This is the main marina. This is the pier, and this is where all the boats, where the whale sharks depart from. A little playground for kids. A bunch of restaurants across the street. And yeah, so this is really the epicenter. If you're doing the whale shark tours, this is where you come to. was a really great bookstore in La Paz. Just bought a map for my road trip, and I don't know, just a nice little bookstore with some interesting books. You don't see many of those around anymore, so it was nice to find one. So I need to find some water. Very thirsty, and I forgot to pack my bottle of water, so my next stop is to pick up some water. So I'm checking out a place here to eat called Nomada. It's a fresh organic place in La Paz, right here. It's a cute little place. So I'm finding these little cute places that have really good food, organic stuff. This vegan pesto, hummus, cucumber sprouts, lettuce, arugula, avocado, and red onion. Looks like a good one. Loaf bread, sourdough, hummus. What's this? Yeah, hummus, huevos. Let me see what I'm gonna have. Vegan sandwich, maybe. Oh, Gouda cheese. Oh, pretty good. Sans pesto. Not bad. So as you can see, there's some really nice stuff here. Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Good. I'm still. Do you do avocado toast in the morning at all? Avocado.
Pan con
I see. Okay. Can I have this sandwich?
Okay.
Sandwich?
Sándwich no, puede ser con pan ese o sourdough.
¿Un pan fresco?
Sí, es de caja.
Okay. Yeah, loaf bread. Sí. ¿Y tiene humo verde?
Sí, tengo él.
Ah, sí. Wow. Good choice. Número 3.
¿Con número 3?
Sí.
Ok.
Ya.
¿Sí?
Ah. Espera. Tiene naranja, ¿no?
Sí.
No quiere naranja.
Se lo puedo hacer con agua de coco.
Sí, ok.
Sí, el 3 con agua de coco.
Sí.
¿Sí?
Bueno.
Número 3 con
Sí.
agua de coco. Ok.
Muy
Con
bien.
permiso.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, it's always nice finding a new place. There we go. And yeah, sometimes it's hard. I mean, I'm a vegetarian. I rarely eat meat at all. I mean, if I could avoid it, I won't. I have been known to eat some ham sandwiches here because it's all there was. But I would never order a steak or chicken or fish. I'm actually afraid of fish here because of food poisoning. I've heard quite a few people getting food poisoning here from the fish, so I don't trust it. Salads I'm really careful with. Very careful with salads. I have to really trust the place. And I think, you know, if you're traveling through Mexico, you should be careful too. First time I was here last year, I got a bit of food poisoning in Tulum out of an Italian restaurant, believe it or not. I had a eggplant parmesan and the next day was not good. It wasn't serious. This time, in Chiapas, I was in San Cristobal de las Casas, and I know exactly where I got it. I shouldn't have gone in there. I ignored my instincts, but I paid for it. And I ate something there. It was a kind of a weird barbacho soup. Chickpeas, swamp water. And I can tell that I shouldn't be. Anyways, right away, 2 hours later, in my hotel room, I was on the toilet. And I got a fever that night. The next day it was a little worse. I had a higher fever and had a bacterial infection in my gut. It took about 4 days to clear up. And in those 4 days, you know, because I wanted to do things. I wanted to go to places. I ended up having to buy some kind of Imodium stuff, Pepto-Bismol stuff to stop me from having to go to the bathroom every like half hour, which wouldn't be possible on some of these trips. And I actually bought some antibiotics just in case. I didn't take the antibiotics. I really wanted to avoid them because 3 years ago in India, I was in Goa and I got a really nasty food poisoning thing there. Again, I know where I caught it. And it was in a 5-star hotel too, by the beach. And that one hit me really hard. I was in bed for 3 nights. On the first night I actually called, I had a doctor come and do a house call, and he came and he gave me some antibiotics and gracias.
De nada. ¿Gustas que te traiga salsa picante? ¿Salsa?
No salsa.
No salsa. Okay.
Thank you. Wow, look at this. I don't know if you can see this. It's a beautiful green juice. Oh my God. It's not sweet too, which is good. It's a problem in Mexico sometimes. They make things really sweet, which I don't like. Anyways, yeah, I had to call a doctor and he gave me an injection of antibiotics. I don't know what he gave me. And he gave me some pills, and it cleared up. I lived, but my gut was messed up. I mean, for about a year, my gut was messed up. Messed up my gut completely. And it's not fun. So it's taken me a while to heal my gut. I've always had like a super powerful gut. I mean, I've traveled all over the world. I remember my first time in Nepal and India. I got some food stuff, but it was never debilitating. You know, I mean, I was on the bathroom, but I was never like in bed with a fever or anything. I managed to get through it, but it's just a warning to people. Oh, beautiful! Thank you. That was amazing. Look at this sandwich. If you can see it, it's a beautiful thing. That smoothie, all perfect. So let it be a warning. Be careful where you eat. Be careful what you eat. If you have a sensitive stomach, avoid salads. Avoid street food. Try to eat at good restaurants, not the street food places and stuff. Don't do street food places. They don't wash their hands, and sometimes you don't know where the water came from. It's just not worth it. No. So yeah, be careful. Anyways, I'm gonna get to my sandwich here, and we'll catch up to you in a little bit. So this is one of the things I really don't like about Mexico. Again, it's gonna sound like really critical, but again, it happens way too often, and I wish people here would wake up and stop doing this. But as you can see, I ordered the Norma sandwich, and it's supposed to come with all these things like pesto, cheese, tomato, red onion, arugula, lettuce, sprouts, avocado. I got halfway through the sandwich and I wasn't even thinking, and this is what I got. I got 2 slices of bread with some cheese and some lettuce and a little bit of avocado. And so obviously there's a few things missing, so I just told the waitress, and I don't know, she looked a little confused. She's gonna get back to me. But again, it shouldn't be that way. It should be that what you order on the menu is what you get on your plate. And these are pretty pictures, as you can see. Look how pretty these pictures are. Look at that pretty picture of a sandwich, and wonderful pictures, but pictures lie, because what you get on your plate isn't what's in the picture. Again, another little tip for travelers in Mexico is when the food comes to your table, make sure it's what you ordered, and if it's not, send it back. It's disappointing that you have to do this. It shouldn't have to do this, and it is what it is. Disappointed. The funny thing, I mean, I was just talking about how the menu was, what I got was completely opposite than what I ordered. And when I complained about it, she actually came out with with video footage of the guy trying to make the sandwich, and you can even see him make the sandwich, but it's like she went to the trouble of the surveillance camera to say, or try to convince me that he actually did add tomatoes and blah blah blah. And you just see the guy's back, and whatever. But I've noticed this before. Instead of like in a normal restaurant situation, in like major cities like New York and so forth, like in a good restaurant, or normal restaurants really, just not in Mexico, what they do is they try to appease you. They offer you something else. In most restaurants, if something goes wrong, or you find a hair in your food, or there's an olive pit that wasn't supposed to be there, what they do is they offer you something. They either bring back the sandwich, which is supposed to be like what it was, or they offer you a dessert, or they offer you something. They try to make it right. But here in Mexico, they don't. They will not make it right. They will just either apologize or shrug, but they won't try to fix it. And I find that really frustrating. Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often, but again, it's a warning to make sure that when you order something from the menu, especially if it's a menu that has all these pretty pictures with, you know, like, oh my god, look at this amazing sandwich, look at this amazing pizza, you know, and then you end up getting this pizza that looks nothing like the picture. Say something right away. Tell them to take it back. Don't put up with it, because I just see it way too often, and it's really upsetting. It really frustrates me, and it shouldn't happen. You know, they should honor their menu. If you're going to go to the trouble to take all these pretty pictures to sell your amazing food, and then, you know, it comes out and it's not what it appears to be, then forget it. You know, sad but true. Anyways, I'm gonna head down to the water and hopefully do those drone shots that I spoke about. I'd like to have them in my little collection. And yeah, we'll see what comes after that. Stay tuned. So check this out. La Paz already has its Christmas decorations up. You can see the poinsettias here. They planted them all around the Malecon. Look, you got reindeer, poinsettias, and the wonderful beach. I don't know if Santa Claus is going to make it down here. He'll probably melt. But hopefully he does. So this is close to sunset. It's not really sunset. It's about 4:30. And you can see the sun out there. Just gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. I think what I'm going to do is have an early dinner, because I go to bed early. I'm usually in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I don't like eating late because I don't sleep as well. At home I usually go to bed around 10. But here, because I don't party, there's not much to do at night, unless you like going out drinking and partying. I usually stay in my hotel room and work, do some editing or planning or research, and usually by 8:30 I'm kind of like, by 9 I'm already kind of in bed. That way I get up at like 5:30 or 6, which isn't great either, because there's nothing open then either. Can't even get a coffee at 6 o'clock in the morning. You gotta wait till like 7:30. Anyway, beautiful day again. This wonderful little town called La Paz. I'm going back to my usual spot, Deutsche Romeo or Romano, and I know I can trust them, because I've had meals there many times before and I've never been disappointed. The only thing that disappointed me was the soup, which I wouldn't recommend you order. It was really disappointing, but it was only 40 pesos, so I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe soup isn't a thing. So I'm not sure what I'm going to order this time. I might just get a salad and a sandwich or something. I'm not sure. We'll see when I get there. Maybe get a smoothie. Make really good smoothies. Check it out. All right, let's catch up then. Look at that sunset. Amazing. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm just walking along the Malecon on my way to the restaurant, and I just happened to come across this. I have no idea what this is. Something about justice, something about activism. Who knows what it is? I don't really understand it, but something's going on. I don't know, man. Kind of looks a little weird. I'm not sure what this is all about, but maybe I'll find out later and put a little note. Estado, oh, something about feminism. There's a bunch of news agencies. Looks pretty harmless though. Looks pretty mild. And I don't know. They look to be all women, which tells me it could have something to do with feminism or something. I'm not sure. Maybe I could find out later. But it seemed pretty mild, which is good. Don't need any drama at the moment. There's enough drama going on the planet as we speak, which I will not get into.